What's going on, everyone? It's Nina Infinity. Welcome back to my channel. And today we're going to be talking about Gina Carano and the fact that apparently she settled her lawsuit with Disney. It's a big deal. This corner of the internet's been talking about this lawsuit for a long time, and it's been finally settled. And a lot of people have a lot of feelings on it, and I figured I'd share my thoughts. So this one is the statement by Gina Carano saying, "I have come to an agreement with Disney and Lucasfilm, which I believe is the best outcome for all parties involved." That would include Elon Musk. "I hope this brings some healing to the force. I want to extend my deepest, most heartfelt gratitude to Elon Musk, a man I've never met who did this good Samaritan deed for me in funding my lawsuit. Thank you, Mr. Musk and X, for backing my case and asking for nothing in return." That's interesting. "To my lawyers at this place who walked me through this unknown territory, thank you for your wisdom and guidance. I am humbled and grateful to God for his love and grace in this outcome. I'd like to thank you all for your unrelenting support throughout my life and career. You've been the heartbeat that has kept my story alive. I hope to make you proud. I am excited to flip the page and move on to the next chapter. My desires remain in the arts, which is where I hope you will join me. Yes, I'm smiling. From my heart to yours, Gina." So there's her statement. And headline dropped yesterday, August 7th. This really is the way Gina Carano pile drives Disney over Mandalorian firing with settlement and job offers. And this is, I think, a really interesting turn of events because I personally did not think that Disney was going to let this go to Discovery or anything like that. I figured that they were trying to settle with her for a long time. I think she was probably rejecting a lot of the settlements, and finally they made the right settlement offer that she basically could not refuse. They made her an offer that she could not refuse.
I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
Having said all of that, I would just like to remind everybody what Gina Carano got in trouble for. Aside from the famous beep bop boop tweet about the pronouns in the bio at the time and all of this other stuff, this was the tweet that basically ended her career at Disney. This was the real culprit. And it's not even something she tweeted out herself. It's something that she shared on it. As you can see, this is an Instagram story up here. She shared an Instagram story of somebody else saying this. She's not even the one that actually made the statement. And the statement reads, "Jews were beaten in the streets, not by Yazid's soldiers, but their neighbors, even by children, because history is edited. Most people today don't realize that to get to the point where Yazid soldiers could easily round up thousands of Jews, the government first made their own neighbors hate them simply for being Jews. How is that any different from hating someone for their political views?" This social media post at the time was made during 2021. In the height of COVID. This is when people were going absolutely wild. People were doing the craziest stuff, telling on their neighbors, being encouraged by the government to tell on their neighbors if you're not standing 6 feet apart or whatever it was.
Keep 2 meters apart, speaking moistly.
If you're not wearing a mask, you got to tell on your neighbors, you got to tell on everybody. This is what we were going through, people. We were going through the wildest stuff that you ever have seen was happening back then. And Gina made a statement about it.
Gina Carano, at the beginning of the pandemic, she started posting things that her belief system told her to post and that she didn't agree with, and they fired her and they canceled her. I think that speaks of a person. That speaks to who she is as a human, and I have so much respect for that about her, that she was willing to sacrifice those things to just be able to stick up for what she believes in.
It wasn't even really about the Republicans, but at the time, it was conceived to be more about the Republicans because they were more vocal about the anti-mandates movement back then. But this was really more about common sense rather than anything else, because it was about people who were speaking out about wearing masks and basically the COVID stuff. And at that time, obviously, Donald Trump was not president yet, and it was a very different time. anybody who even was perceived to be MAGA or Republican or anything associated with the MAGA movement or Donald Trump was immediately labeled racist, anti-Semitic, any sort of ist or phobe, you name it, you were labeled that. Yahtzee sympathizer, which is all of the things that Gina Carano was called for making this tweet about COVID. It was really, that's what it was about. And it was a really wild thing to see happen to her. So the fact that now we've come full circle to a point in time where it's 2025 and Donald Trump is now president again, and things are very much changing in the sphere of whether in the courts of laws in the United States or whether it's the court of public opinion in terms of whether woke is dead or all of these different things. We are in a very different time right now. So the fact that Disney chose to settle this case is not at all surprising to me. And the fact that they finally offered an offer she couldn't refuse, it is not surprising to me at all. And honestly, you guys, I believe Gina Carano is somebody who is just a good-spirited human being, and she just wants to live her life. If you've ever watched any of her content, anything on her Instagram or anything like that, where she posts about herself or her daily life, she often talks about wanting to be creative and thinking that creativity is the most important thing in the world, and just wanting to create things out into the universe, put good energy out into the universe. That's just the kind of person she's always come across as. And I think as time has gone by, even though her lawsuit was funded by Elon Musk, I still think that the suit itself drained her completely, as it does. And that's exactly what I experienced as well. And at some point, you just realize there's just more important things in life than seeing these kind of things through to the end. And that would be your health, mental and physical, which a lawsuit, especially a lawsuit as crazy as something like this, will take a toll on you. It will take a toll on your spirit. It will take a toll on your mental and physical health. It will tear you apart. And a part of that, like I said, Elon Musk covered her expenses, so she never had to deal with at least the thought of not having money to keep moving forward. But everything else, she still has to go through. And I can really relate to the idea of not wanting to go through it anymore. And so this idea that I'm hearing across the interwebs of people just kind of calling her out and saying that she sold out because she had previously stated that she would see this through the end, I feel it's an unfair statement, because honestly, you know, at the time, like I said, when this happened to her, she probably felt like, yeah, I'm going to fight this to the end. I'm a fighter. I'm an MMA fighter. I'm going to fight this to the end. Her spirits was probably like, yes, I'm going to do this. And then Elon Musk came on board and she's like, yeah, we're going to take it to him. And then as it wore her down, she was probably like, you know what? I'm done. Like, I'm done. I can understand that. I can understand that very well. And I think the other part of this is that this kind of idea that Disney would ever really change, I honestly don't think that's in the cards. Some people make this argument that Disney has changed over the last decade. And to some extent, that's true, because they've kind of gotten worse and worse and worse and worse. But Disney, even back when in the 80s and in the 90s, they've always been this really shady company that has done incredibly shady things with their creators, didn't pay them, stole stuff. When you go down the rabbit hole of what kind of company the Walt Disney Company has been, you kind of start to get the idea that, yeah, that is all an illusion. Disney, being the happiest place on earth, was and has always been an illusion that they've created, because they are one of the most shark, most litigious, most unscrupulous companies to exist, and it has been for decades. I don't think there's been many instances where somebody has actually won against Disney. Most lawsuit against Disney get settled immediately. This was actually quite a thing to see how long it went on for. And I think one of the reasons it went on as long as it did was because of the political climate in America and how it changed. And the result of this lawsuit right now, that is a big thing, I think, that had to do with this decision. Going back to that Deadline article, it actually mentions something like that. I thought was really interesting. On the other side of this, in this era of knee bending and ring kissing in the face of MAGA, forces the House of the Mouse once again today adopted that trying to please red state tone it has been putting out there since Donald Trump took back the White House last November, a tone that was reinforced late in 2024 when Disney paid the POTUS elect $15 million to settle another lawsuit in what is still widely seen as a shakedown capitulation. Today, they tried to make a bit more dignified, saying, quote, "The Walt Disney Company and Lucasfilm are pleased to announce that we have reached an agreement with Gina Carano to resolve the issue in her pending lawsuit against the companies," a spokesperson said Thursday. Ms. Carano was always well respected by her directors, co-stars, and staff, and she worked hard to perfect her craft while treating her colleagues with kindness and respect. It's really interesting that showrunners were not mentioned here, or producers like Kathleen Kennedy.
Put another gay diverse woman in it. Make it more fun.
In case you had any doubt who was the victor here, let the last sentence of the Disney and Lucasfilm statement hit you hard. With this lawsuit settled, we look forward to identifying opportunities to work together with Ms. Carano in the near future. Boom. That's a very different tone from last year when Disney insisted, as it had before, that the ex-martial arts fighter lost her high-profile Star Wars series gig 4 years ago because her decision to publicly trivialize the Holocaust by comparing criticism of political conservatives to annihilation of millions of Jewish people, notably, not thousands, was the final straw for Disney. So again, this is all very interesting. There's a lot of legalese language going on here, which has a lot of people speculating what this all means. Does this mean that Gina will be working with Disney again? It certainly sounds that way. But I mean, I don't really know, because she did also say that she would never work with the company again. But it may be part of the settlement offer that they offered her. Maybe they offered her part of Doomsday, for all we know, because they said it's upcoming project. So maybe they have something going on for her in Marvel or something. Maybe not quite Star Wars, but maybe voice acting and Pixar. I don't know. Either way, it certainly seems like they paid her a big fat check, which she happily took and is smiling about. And I think I would be smiling too at this moment if I was her. Look, I understand the disappointment because I feel it as well. I want Disney to be over to you guys, but I really deeply understand the idea of not wanting to battle this out for eternity. I think it's unfair for people to call her a sellout. If you think she's a sellout, by all means, go and sue Disney, or anyone for that matter, and see how much fun you have in court, especially in a California court. The other aspect of this also is to look at what's going on with the Blake Lively lawsuit right now, with Judge Lehman making all these really weird decisions. Look, when you go to court, you have no idea how things are going to turn out. You may think that you're going to win. You may think you have a really strong case, but you go to court and it may all go the exact opposite way that you thought it would. So for her, she was like, I think I'm not going to choose the mystery door. I think I'm going to take the first prize. In her case, I don't think it was actually the first prize. It's probably like the 9th or 10th prize, because I'm sure they've come and offered her many, many things. And she was finally like, I think I'll take what's behind door number 3. I basically the safe bet. And kudos to her. And I wish her the best. I hope she gets more jobs now. I bet you guys that she's probably going to get a new agent. She's probably going to start creating more projects and getting involved in more projects. And maybe she even wants to make her own production company. I mean, God knows. That's what I would probably do if I was her. Because it's like, who wants to deal with all of these different, just annoying people? Let me just do my own thing. But then again, maybe she doesn't, because she sees what's going on with Justin Baldoni. And apparently that doesn't save you either. If a psychopath wants to come after you, they're gonna come after you. So, anyways, it's all very, very interesting. I don't think she's a sellout. Godspeed to her, and I really do wish her the best. But yeah, let me know what you guys all think. Do you think she's sold out? Do you think it's good that she took the settlement offer? Let me know all of your thoughts. If you disagree with me, if you don't, whatever, let me know all of the thoughts down below. And make sure you smash the like, share the video, and subscribe if you're new here. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see you next time. Bye.